Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for part 3 of episode 5, where we're continuing to answer the questions that the public has sent in to me, wanting to know more about how I handle my OCD. Today I only have time for one question. The last couple of questions are pretty long to answer, so I won't be able to finish them all in this one video. Today's question that we have is, what do you do when you have a flare-up? And that's a great question. It's simple. I like that it's simple, but it's also very important because flare-ups cause obsessions. And then what's after obsessions? Compulsions. So for me, a flare-up can happen at any moment. And flare-ups are caused by stressful times in my life. So for example, say there's something going on in my routine that's different, or if I have to change my routine, or in my life there's a change, there's something new, even if it's a positive one, my mind can't handle that. So then it's triggered because it's stressed, and then all of a sudden it'll develop uncertainty or doubts about what's going on in my life, what's new, what's going to be the result of these new routines. OCD is known as the doubting disease. And the reason why is because OCD mind cannot handle any doubts. So for me, maybe I'll doubt my future if there's something new going on in my life. An OCD mind, when it's stressed, it cannot handle any uncertainty. And what it does is it then develops something to be afraid about. An OCD mind will want to solve a mystery that sometimes has nothing to do with me. It's totally irrelevant to me. But when it is stressed, it can really make things worse because it doesn't know the difference between fight or flight. That communication that's going on in the prefrontal cortex to the other parts of the brain, it's not telling me that I'm safe during these new moments in my life, during these new events that's going on. Instead, it's still telling me danger. So when I'm stressed, I'm flared up. And then my obsessions start, and then what comes after obsessions? Then that's when I start doing my compulsions and make things worse. So, for example, I've had a couple flare-ups this week. So this question came at just the right time because I've been dealing with it for a week now. Last night I had a minor flare-up, and I'll get to one of the bigger ones, but last night I had a minor flare-up because I needed to go to bed early. This morning I had to wake up early to host something. And last night I went to bed at 9:30, and I told myself, like, okay, I need to get my rest. I got to wake up early so that way I can join something the next morning. And all of a sudden I couldn't sleep. My mind was incredibly worried about not waking up on time, about doing a bad job at the event that I needed to go to. And I started having some anxiety attacks, and I couldn't sleep. And then all of a sudden, now I'm obsessed about, am I going to do a good job at this event that I got to do? And I'm still dealing with it right now. So my mind is like I said, it's fragile, it's sensitive. It's really hard to not have a flare-up because anything can trigger it. This past week, I've had a pretty big flare-up, and I think it's because just there's things that are going on in my life that are changing. But like I said, flare-ups can happen at any moment. In the previous video, I also did mention that sometimes I can't watch YouTube, I can't watch movies or TV shows because my mind will develop a fear based off of something that I'm watching because of the sensitivity of it. So this week I had a flare-up, and my mind all of a sudden convinced itself and convinced me that I was a narcissist. And to be honest, I don't really know exactly the symptoms of a narcissist, but my mind just told me you're a narcissist. And the reason why is because I watched a video on Derek Jackson. Now, I don't know for those that know him, but he's this relationship guru on YouTube, and he gives all men and women advice on how to, have healthy relationships. He's written many books. Him and his wife are figures that uphold this image, and people go to him. Derek Jackson is, I guess, the go-to guy for relationship advice. Well, Derek Jackson had multiple affairs, and it recently came out. And he made a public apology, and people made reaction videos to that. And they were using words such as narcissist, look at how he speaks, look at he's not apologizing, this and that. So they kept calling him narcissist, and I had to stop the video because then my mind called me a narcissist. And I've been dealing with that for a week. I've been looking up what a narcissist is. Is it something that can be cured? And I even went to my therapist a couple days later after my flare up, and I told him, I said, I think I'm a narcissist. And he goes, "You're not a narcissist." And I was like, "How do you know? You a therapist?" So he was telling me, "You're not a narcissist, this and that." But I kept repeating, "I think I am one. I think I am one because my mind told me. And I think I'm a narcissist." And he kept going in a cycle. He had to stop me because he knows of my condition. But that's an example of how a flare-up can trigger me. And it can happen at any moment. I was in bed watching YouTube and all of a sudden couldn't sleep. And because I was telling myself, I'm a narcissist. So what happens is, what I do during a flare-up is I am actually, let's start with what I do, what I'm not supposed to do. Actually, let's say that. So when I'm triggered, I feel very sad. I can't work properly. Sometimes I can't sleep. I can't eat. I'm not able to enjoy anything. I feel alone because no one can understand the pain that I'm going through, and they can't really help me fix it. I have to fix it myself. So in those moments when I'm having a flare-up, I'll go to Google. I'm not supposed to do that, but I'll go to Google and I'll go on an OCD website and see if there's anyone else suffering from OCD that is going through what I'm going through, because I need reassurance. I just want to feel normal that what I'm going through, people go through. I'm not alone in this. And I'm seeking temporary relief, but we all know that that's not good because that's a compulsion. What I am supposed to do is sit there with those uncomfortable feelings and thoughts. I'm not supposed to do anything. I'm not supposed to Google. I'm not supposed to really call for help sometimes because it could be a compulsion. I'm actually just supposed to sit there and see if I can get over it or not fight the thoughts. So I literally just have to sit there and I have to suffer. So when the thoughts come up telling me I'm a narcissist, instead of saying you're not a narcissist, that's not who you are, your therapist even confirmed you're not a narcissist. Actually, what I'm supposed to say is, okay, if I'm a narcissist, then I'm a narcissist. Then I'll work on it. Because the OCD mind cannot handle uncertainty or doubts. So instead, when you're fighting the thoughts, it's still some sort of uncertainty. Because I can tell myself, like, I'm not a narcissist, but my mind will then come up with another topic saying, like, okay, well, maybe it's because you don't want to take responsibility for being a narcissist and you're lying to yourself. There's no winning when you're fighting the thoughts. You have to submit. I have to submit to my mind. So when my mind is telling me I'm a narcissist, I have to just say, like, okay, now what? I'll grow. I'll learn from it. If I am one, then I want to better myself. So that's the hardest part, though, is because for someone that does not have OCD, they're not going to tell them. They're not going to agree. Sometimes they're not going to agree. If the question comes into their mind, am I a narcissist? A lot of the times they're not going to be like, yeah, I am one, and be okay with that. For me, I have to be okay with that, because if I fight it, then the anxiety grows and it becomes worse, and then my obsessions prolong. So for this week, what I've been doing is just sitting on my couch and just sitting there. I can't do much compulsions because it'll prolong it, but I had to just sit there and just accept the fact, like, okay, if my mind is telling me I'm a narcissist, then okay, I'm a narcissist. My mind is not on my side. So I constantly have to, like I said, submit to it. And I really can't do anything to forget or ignore the thoughts that it's coming up with. So that's one thing that I can do in my house, right? If I'm having a flare-up and if I'm having an obsession, I'll just sit there and I have to accept what comes up. So I can't fight the thoughts. I can't fight the feelings, even though people can easily say, like, no, you're not a narcissist. You're a great person. You're not that type of person. But I wish it were that easy. Unfortunately, I can't convince myself that I am not one. Instead, it's easier if I convince myself that I am one and see if the obsession goes away. It's interesting, right? Because it's the opposite. I have to do the opposite. So to help with my flare-ups, what I'll do is I'll go for a walk. I'll take my dog out, but I have to go somewhere that has no people. No one's around me, because I'll talk to myself sometimes, and if a person's seen my lips moving and my head's down, I don't want them to think anything. But I need time away from people, because sometimes I need to try and work on my thoughts myself. Sometimes I'll have my therapist and my friends help me, and it does help. But I can't really continue to go to them, because that can be a compulsion. I have to do them myself. So I'll go for a walk. I'll play video games. I'll play Call of Duty, even though I suck. I'll talk to people on the mic. Just something to help give me some positive energy. I'll maybe do some drawings. It is hard to work sometimes when I am having a flare up, but sometimes I will start working, and all of a sudden I'll get in a creative mindset and forget about what my obsessions are telling me. But flare-ups can happen at any moment, anytime. It doesn't matter where I am. It doesn't matter, whether I'm in physical danger or not. It can happen at any time. And so what I'll do is I'll have to sit there and accept the thoughts that are coming to me, not fight them. And to help with that, I can go for a walk. I can play video games. I could do some drawings. I can call my friends. But that is what happens when I have a flare-up. And I've had probably hundreds of flare-ups in front of hundreds of clients. I've hid them that well. Clients have been with me when I've had my flare-ups. For the 2 years that I've had that one flare-up, imagine the clients that I've seen for 2 years, they didn't even tell that I had OCD. So flare-ups for me are tough, because it's all, internally, it's all mentally. It's mentally exhausting. And my flare-ups can go for weeks, months, and like I said, years over something that is stressing me out in one moment. It can carry on for years at most. So flare-ups are tough. And so that's what I do, because they're very distressing. They're very exhausting. So that's it for today. If you guys have any questions on this, I hope I was able to explain this good. But if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. The next part, it's going to be a longer question, longer answer to it. I hope to see you then. Stick around. I am very happy that you're still with me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you guys so much. Bye.